to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It's Power Talk Friday. Back on episode 331, I sat down with Kate Ahl of Simple Pin Media to talk about how you can use Pinterest for organic social media marketing. Today, Erin Harding, the Director of Promoted Pins Management at Simple Pin Media, is here to discuss the paid side of Pinterest. During her 5 years with Simple Pin Media, Erin has worked with a variety of businesses and brands, helping them to grow their business on Pinterest, both organically and paid. Erin believes in the power of Pinterest and hopes that through her teachings, you might as well. Maybe you're active on Pinterest, but you haven't quite dipped your toes into the paid advertising side of things. So this is great news because Erin has practical tips and plenty to say about why now is the time for you to start running paid ads on Pinterest. Before we get going, I want to take a moment to thank our show sponsor, Rebel Woods, your source for premium hardwood and resilient flooring. Using the Rebel Woods selector tool, you'll be able to find curated suggestions for your project catered to your client's home. When you sign up for a free professional membership, you'll get access to exclusive discounts and referral benefits. Visit rebelwoods.com to get started. Okay, let's hear what Erin has to say about paid Pinterest campaigns. Hi, Erin. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm just so thrilled to be here today.
Well, it's a treat for me because, of course, it's been a long time since I had your boss, Kate Ahl, on the podcast. And, you know, it's so funny is podcasters, obviously we have our own community, just like interior designers, just like, social media marketers. And, Kate is one of those people in the podcast community that you're like, oh, Kate Ahl. So I'm so excited.
She's everywhere.
Well, she's just is so well respected. That's the thing for me, that she's built such a great podcast audience. And of course, I'm one of them. So I'm happy to have you now, Erin, and learn about what you do. What you do with Kate is you talk about the paid side of Pinterest for, our businesses, where Kate, when she was on the show back all the way, episode 331, which we'll put in the show notes, talked about the organic side of Pinterest for your business. So, Erin, today, talking about the paid side of a paid ad campaign, why would an interior designer even, right out the gate, even consider doing a paid campaign for Pinterest? Tell us about that.
Well, that's a really good question because there's so many options and so many different platforms to be able to advertise on these days, right? You have Facebook, you have Google, you have YouTube, you have Instagram. So one of the biggest things about Pinterest that is different from other platforms is that people use Pinterest for design inspiration. It's literally one of the top searched things on Pinterest. So that's number one. People are actively searching for solutions when they're on Pinterest, they're planning, they're shopping, and they're searching for solutions to the problem that they have. And so when people are on Pinterest, you're not just, the idea behind Pinterest advertising is that you, the advertiser, show up as a solution in the user's feed when they're actively searching for, their design dilemmas, whatever that may be. And this is because Pinterest is a search and discovery platform, not social media. So what you're doing is you're not interrupting their search experience. You're actually adding value to it. So that's the biggest reason that I think that designers really need to be thinking about advertising on Pinterest.
That's a great distinction, Erin, because just as a casual user to all social and all the things, I have to do a lot of it because of the business that I'm in. But if I were a CPA, I probably wouldn't be on social, is the point. Okay. However, interestingly, as you were describing that, I was like, when I randomly want to know something about something, specifically that I'm going to get an accessory for my office or this or what, I will go to Pinterest. That's so funny. And so what you're saying
Yep.
is that when a design enthusiast, who is our client, our target client for as an interior designer, when a design enthusiast is on Instagram, they're enjoying themselves. They're just like they're perusing, they're taking in the eye candy. And not that they're never searching, but when they come to Pinterest, it's because they're on a mission to see the XYZ type of farmhouse cabinets that they want to know, maybe I should put that in my next design project, right?
Well, that's right, LuAnn. And when people start planning on Pinterest, it's in their nature to create a specific board. Maybe they're going to be redesigning their living room. So they create a living room board, and then they start, and the minute they create that board, Pinterest's ears pop up, right? And
Mm.
they're like, okay, this person is creating this living room board. They're going to want to see these specific living room things. And so then they start to, show in the user's feed all things living room. So what's happening is when they begin to plan, you know, they may not click right away, right? They may not click through to your website right away, but what they're doing is they're in planning mode. So they're saying, "Ooh, I really like what this fireplace looks like. I really love this rug." And they're starting to save these ideas,
Mm.
right? And then it's almost like their own little mood board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this mood board of exactly what they want their living room to look like. And then once they've gathered all these things, then they start to make decisions. So that's kind of the process of somebody who's on Pinterest. And like I said, as an advertiser, you come in when they need you most,
Mm.
not just when when you're on Facebook, it's like you're checking up on Aunt Susie, right? And so you're not really in the mindset. You want to see what she did last Friday night, right? You're not
Right.
really in the mindset of designing when you're on Facebook. So that's a big difference right there.
That is a key difference. I love that difference. And so what you're saying is that as an interior designer, we want to capitalize on this. We want to say, hey, this person is out there actively in the planning stage, trying to gather ideas and thoughts. And when that person switches from planning to buying, we want to be top of mind.
Yeah, and not only do you want to be top of mind, but you're already living on their board with whatever it is that you're putting out there, whether it be your portfolio or blog posts or free offers, whatever it is, you're already in their mind now. They've
Mm.
seen your logo, they've seen your brand, and now when they're ready to make decisions, they're going to remember you because they saved that pin. So you may not, you may be advertising and you may put an ad out there. You may not get results that day or even the next day or even the next week. But when people are in this planning process, it could be 14 to 30 days, but you will get that conversion if you've done the right thing to get your pin in the right place at the right time.
And I may be jumping ahead with this question, but are you able, when you do a Pinterest ad campaign, are you able to like geofence it so that I'm not talking to some design enthusiast in California if I'm in New Jersey, or not?
Well, that's a really good point. And one big thing about organic versus paid is that you can do that targeting on paid and not on organic. So for example, oftentimes we'll have clients or we have a membership community where we also guide people through the ins and outs of Pinterest ads. And so we've worked with designers before, and a lot of designers have different offers, right? They may have a free offer to build their email list. And in return, what they do with this list is, they may have a nurture sequence that they use, or they may know that once they get people on their email list, then, the things that they can do with them are endless, right?
Right.
So there are lots of things that designers do to drive traffic to their website. And you can start out by doing, driving traffic to your blog, just getting people to know what your style is or what you can do or what your offers are. And then you can start to dig in a little bit more and potentially retarget those people who have engaged with you. And then you can start promoting your services. Now, one of the big things that you mentioned was the targeting. So what can we do on Pinterest to target people who are in? Now, some people have online services, right? So
Right.
you don't have to worry about that so much, but people who are in a specific area and don't travel to do their work, you can definitely go as far as metro areas. So you can do zip codes, metro areas, states, regions. You can definitely do that targeting, but only when you're doing paid advertising, not when you're doing organic advertising on Pinterest. So that is one of the benefits.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know because of course, for any designer who is offering e-design, irrelevant where the leads come from. But for, I would say, the majority of designers, they're preferring to do projects within a certain radius of where their studio or their home is located. And so, I don't really want to be attracting people in California if I'm thinking about window works. I want people who want window treatments, in New Jersey and New York, not in California.
That's right.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's right. And that's in, there's a lot more targeting you can do, obviously, but that is one of the things that I have found to be the most beneficial when doing ads. Oftentimes, there are lots of different reasons why you would want to target just zip codes or states, or, we have people who ship, products that have to be shipped within 24 hours because they're perishable or, things like that. So we can only, use specific zip codes or states because it can only be a 24-hour ship process. There are other reasons for doing that as well. So and sometimes it's not even out of necessity, it's more out of value. So oftentimes if it costs too much to ship somewhere, we just don't advertise to that area because we know that if a product is $50 and the shipping is $75,
Right.
there's a good chance they're not going to want that, right? So there's lots of reasons to do that, but that's exactly what you were saying. If someone's located in a specific area and they want to stay local to that area with their services, then targeting with zip code is going to be something you definitely want to do.
And then what do we need to know if a designer is thinking to his or herself, this sounds good. I like the idea of this. I already knew this because I listened to Kate's show that Pinterest is a great space for our industry and that our target client is there and yada, yada. What happens if we say, I'm ready to put some money behind this? Where do we start?
Well, actually, I love that you say that because first things first, I think it's really important to give about 3 months. Plan on giving about 3 months minimum of ads on Pinterest to see if your services or your offers work on Pinterest, because Pinterest is this long game. It's not an immediate thing. Like I said, especially with interior services, people are planners on Pinterest. You have to give it time to work. So definitely plan on giving about 3 months minimum. of advertising on Pinterest to make sure it works. Now, you don't have to throw a ton of money in there, but you want to plan on probably a minimum of $30 to $50 per day in ad spend for about 3 months to really see if that works on Pinterest for you. Um, you do want to make sure that your account is set up prior to running ads. It's really important that you have a business account because that's the only way that you can run ads on Pinterest. You also want to make sure that the Pinterest tag is installed. That is how data is going to be transferred from Pinterest to your website and vice versa. So whenever anyone clicks on your ad and they go to your website and they sign up for services or they opt into your offer, that is going to be how you track that. So the Pinterest tag needs to be installed as well. You also want to make sure that you're doing your research. So what keywords are people searching when they are searching for these types of solutions that you're offering? You also want to do your audience research. Both of these can be done inside Pinterest in their analytics section, which makes it really easy. But you really want to know, who your ideal, and I think most interior designers know who your ideal client is prior to running ads, but it's interesting because when you're on Pinterest, it's not the same audience as it may be on Instagram or Facebook. Demographics are different. So it's definitely worth a little bit of time prior to running ads to just check out the Pinterest analytics on your account to see who is already engaging with your pins. So that's a really smart thing to do. And then you just really want to make sure that you have a clear goal in mind. So you shouldn't ever do advertising, right, without having a goal in mind. You don't want to spend money if you don't know why you're spending money. So just make sure that you have a primary and even a secondary goal in mind so that you can really measure your success. But most of all, just make sure that you're having fun with it. You're creating ads that are going to be eye-catching and really draw attention in a sea of tons of other pins, right? That's one of the good things about Pinterest is there's lots of different options. But the biggest thing is that you really want to catch the eye of your ideal client. So when you're designing your ads, just really make sure that you're doing that. Now, if that means you have to, hire someone to create your ads, that's what you have to do. But that's the biggest part of this visual search platform, which is what Pinterest is because that's the first thing you see is actually the images. And so you really want to be drawing the eye in on those images. And you really only have, I think they say you have 3 seconds to draw the attention of someone to your ad. So that's just keep that in mind. I mean, there's lots of stuff in the background, but ultimately, the images is how you're going to pull people in. So
makes sense. So I want to go back and pull apart and break a couple of things down there. So first of all, you said have a primary and secondary goal before you even do the campaign. Give me a suggestion of what a primary or a secondary goal might be for an interior design firm.
Sure. So I actually will give you I will tell you a tiny story about a client of ours. They were an interior design firm, and they ultimately, their goal was to offer their services, right? So they wanted people to hire them for their services. However, they knew when they were just beginning on Pinterest that may not be something that happens right away. So they wanted to do a smaller offer, and it was just a quick free guide on how to choose your color scheme. So they had created this free guide, and in order to get the free guide, you just drop in your email address and the free guide just comes directly to your email. So their primary goal in the first campaign was to build their email list through the free offer. And in that, you are creating brand awareness as well. So their secondary goal, and that was their services. So inside of that free offer, they not only did a great job of, allowing people to choose their living room color scheme on their own, but they also gave a lot of really good information about their services after the fact. And they had online services. So, but
Mm.
that was what they did. So that was their primary goal. And then their secondary goal. The primary goal is typically something that's lower cost, and the secondary goal is typically something that's a higher cost.
Okay, makes sense. And do you find in your experience that, well, let me just rephrase it. It's clear to me that if I offer e-design services, that this is a viable way to advertise my services. That I don't even contest. I think it makes perfect sense. Do you find that if you're a firm that really doesn't have that offer for e-design, or is not, like, some designers have a very active blog and they are earning affiliate money from just driving tens of thousands of visitors each month to their blog. And so, but these are online revenue services, e-design and affiliate links and so forth like that. For the designer that is strictly a boots on the ground and I want to engage with a live human and be the designer for their project, do you find that that's the audience that's on Pinterest, or is Pinterest just by its nature attracting more people who want advice but then want to go ahead and maybe execute themselves?
Well, that's a really great question, because what we know of Pinterest from the very beginning when Pinterest started is it was really kind of a DIY, right?
Right.
We look up ideas on Pinterest and bloggers show us how to do them, or we look up recipes on Pinterest and that. But Pinterest in the past couple of years has definitely moved more towards a better shopping experience. And so even though definitely there are some people who still use it, and a lot of us, use it for recipes or, just free inspiration, right? But in the past couple of years, they've really made advertising, it's matured so much that, even in the beginning, we didn't have the option to target with zip code, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that they know that there are tons of other advertisers who are advertising specific services in a specific location, they start to add all of these different features onto the ads platform. So yes, it's growing in that direction. Now, you're not going to have as big of an audience, right? So your audience isn't going to be as big as it may be, or your pool isn't going to be as big as it may be if you were able to prospect to just everyone.
Mm.
But it definitely can be done. I know someone who runs a small boutique in the San Francisco area, and primarily she uses Pinterest ads for her, and it's a brick and mortar. And so that's she makes the most well, she's doing is she's doing big brand awareness campaigns, and it has just her business has exploded, and she's been
Mm.
doing this for the past about year and a half. So yes, we're moving in that direction on Pinterest, but I guess I would say you will see um, bigger results, I guess, if you do have other options. So if you do want to drive people to your blog or your website or your portfolio, or you do have some type of free offer for people, you will see more traffic. But that's not to say it doesn't work when you're in a specific area.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And do you feel like, regardless of your primary and secondary goal, is it, would you say that it's 80% of the time, or is it 100% of the time, that you should have some sort of lead magnet ready, like that you mentioned, how to pick paint colors for your living room? Is it, I imagine it's better, but is it absolutely like, you know what, don't bother? Because when you mentioned $30 to $50 a day for 90 days, that's, I had to get my calculator out, but that's $2,700 to $4,500, right? And so, look, in the scheme of advertising, if we're running a grown-up business, that's not a lot of money, and it's not a lot of money, especially if you get one project where the design fees are 20 grand. Like, so what, right? But at the
Right.
same time, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. So it's, and or would you say don't spend $5,000 on Pinterest advertising if you don't have a lead magnet, because that's the first step, or it's irrelevant?
No, so I would say if you're going to be advertising and paying to promote your pins on Pinterest, it's smart to do that, but you don't have to. Now, what I will say is if you do not have a lead magnet and you're not planning on doing that, so a lot of businesses just, that's never going to be in their plan, right? So that's also fine too. But what I suggest in that situation is start with a really heavy organic strategy.
Okay.
So I know Kate talked about that a little bit in one of the episodes with you. I would definitely take a listen to that, because I would definitely get a good foundation on the organic side, because if you do that over a couple of months, so let's say you're just really getting started with Pinterest, you haven't done a whole lot, or you haven't been consistent, start on the organic side of things first.
Okay.
And if you're not going to have a lead magnet or any type of offer or anything like that, then it's a great idea to build up that engagement on your account. And then you can go into the analytics, like I said, and look to see where your people coming from. Do I have enough people from my area who are engaging with me that it would be worth it to run ads? So you can do that after running organic for a couple of months. If you're really consistent, you can take a look in the analytics and say, well, I'm in the LA area. The LA area is giving me this much traffic. Well, now I know that I have enough people engaging with me on Pinterest from the LA area that it's worth it for me to advertise.
Okay. So to clarify that.
So that's my
Yeah. And so to clarify,
that's my tip.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I just want to clarify it. So what we're saying is, if you have a lead magnet, first of all, what we're going to say is organic practice on Pinterest is probably never a waste of time, right? But if you have an existing lead magnet, it's not as critical to like spend 3 months doing organic Pinterest. You can jump right in with a paid Pinterest campaign. But if you don't have a lead magnet, what you're saying is build up the organic side of your Pinterest engagement, because that's how, through the analytics, you're going to find who you want to target. Because I guess what I'm hearing is, if I don't have, 5 paint colors for the best living room ever on the whole wide world planet ever was born, okay? Like that is just going to attract X amount of people, right? But if I don't have that, I have to see what am I doing that I can't, because I don't have anything to give away. And so what am I doing on Pinterest that is attracting people? And now I'm going to target that audience, right? Am I getting this?
That's right. And then the other thing is, even if you don't have a free offer, let's say you don't have a free offer, one of the things that you can do as well, and this is something that one of my students in my ads community started doing. She's running ads for a designer right now. And she decided, well, we're never going to have a free offer, like you said, like a lead magnet. But what we can do is we can do free consult calls and try to get them into services. So she started doing that, booking consult calls through Pinterest ads. And so that's another option as well. There's definitely things that can be done. And I just think it's worth it to do a little testing to see, and you can always do that on the organic side of things first to see how it's working. But keep in mind, the minute you start putting money behind an ad, it really will accelerate. So you just want to make sure that you're ready for whatever it is that comes your way. So if you're offering, she was funny because she said, well, I did what you suggested, and now we're booked for 3 months straight. And it's like, okay, well,
Let's turn off the fire hydrant.
Yeah, Pinterest ads work. So you have to be prepared once you start putting out those offers. So
okay. I love it. That's very funny. And just to make sure that I'm not misleading anybody by leaving something unclarified in the middle of that, if I have a lead magnet, a valid, good, one, or like you said, an idea for something else, like, a free consultation or whatever, phone consultation. I don't have to spend, oh, let me do 3 months in the weeds doing organic stuff. I can just come right. Maybe I've ignored my Pinterest page for 5 years. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to show up again and I'm going to do paid ads. Is that a valid thing? You're like, no, 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 no. You really should
Yep.
always pay attention. It is a valid thing. Okay, good. All right.
Nope, it is valid because the minute you start doing ads, you pick your targeting. So
Yeah.
ads work a lot quicker than if you're testing things out organically.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And like
yep,
many
you can
things.
absolutely do that.
Yes. And like many things in social media, the interior design industry has a leg up because we have the pretty pictures, right? If you're a doctor's office or a CPA or, a tree, cutter or down guy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like...
Is that specific to keywords there, LuAnn? Is that how people are going to find that tree cutter downer guy? Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, but you're exactly right. I mean, that is one of the big, like I said, going to Pinterest for design inspiration is one of the number one things that people go to Pinterest for. Right. So again, right away, whether you have a good ad creative strategy or not, I mean, right away, you're already above most of the people on Pinterest, right? And so, there's just a couple things you want to make sure you have on top of those images, which is the size. Size matters. So you want to make sure that you're within the guidelines of Pinterest advertising, which is 1,000 by 1,500 pixel image size. So that's a vertical. And then you just want to, like you said, have eye-catching quality images. You also want to have text overlay. So what the text overlay does is it explains whatever your product or offer is. So we want people to know when you click on this pin, this is what you will get. So that text overlay can help to explain that. On top of that, we like to make sure that people add a really a tasteful size logo and in a place that is obvious but not overpowering. And then we just like to make sure that there's a call to action on there too. So whether it be your free consult call, or it could be, sign up for services or whatever it may be, you want to make sure you have that call to action so that people can, it's almost like we tend to put these little call to actions almost like in a button, like a text box, because it makes people want to click. So on top of those eye-catching images, there's just a few other things we like to have on a Pinterest ad to really, to convert.
Right.
So.
Okay. I love it. And to go back to the pricing, you're basically saying figure a $3,000 to $5,000 minimum investment. In your experience specifically with interior designers, Erin, at Simple Pin Media, do you find, I mean, I would think if the campaign is working, 5,000 is a no-brainer every 3 months. And I'd be like, can we do 10,000? Or is it not necessary? In other words, if it's working, and of course, as you said, I have to be prepared for my pipeline to be smashed and crowded right through the front door with new clients, right? But if it's working, is it a matter of a better practice to just continue with the 3,000 to 5,000 every 3 months and just keep it consistent? Or do you ever look at somebody and say, hey, 5,000 is working, let's do 10? Is consistency better, I would think, but I'm curious.
Well, sure. I mean, anytime we see, so when we measure, when we look at, is this promoted pin campaign successful right now? So how do we measure that? Well, ideally, we like to stay above a 2 times return on ad spend. And of course, that's going to differ a little bit. Like if you have a free offer or you're, driving people to a free consult or something like that, you're you're going to want to figure out what is that worth to you. So, if you have 1 out of every 10 free consults actually sign up for services, then you can get a really good idea of how much a free consult is worth to you. But either way, once we see about 2 to 3 times return on ad spend, that's when we kind of go to the client and say, okay, this is working. We can start to scale at this point, which is what everyone wants to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we can be conservative and kind of keep that going, and just kind of plateaus you right
Mm-hmm.
through a couple of months. But ultimately, I mean, I've never come across a client who says, no, I just want to be average, So it does seem like once we get to a 2 to 3 times return on ad spend is when clients start to put more ad spend, in the pot. But what we typically do is we typically see about the first 30 days as kind of gathering data, seeing what ads resonate with the audience, and you oftentimes don't make any money back that first month. But in the second month, we tend to see, that rise a little bit. We start to see conversions. We start to see people more interested. And those saves that people did in that first month, right? Because you can save those ads onto different boards. Those are starting to convert in month 2 and month 3. So that's why I say it's really important to give Pinterest ads a go for about 3 months, because don't forget, people on Pinterest are planners. So
Right.
you really need to give them that time to plan and then make their decisions. So yeah, I would say that if you want, you can kind of keep it at that low budget. And then, if you want to grow your business, then you scale at that point. But one thing that's interesting is, oftentimes, depending on what your product or your offer or your service is, sometimes it's evergreen, right? So sometimes it's like year round, sometimes it's seasonal. One thing that's great about interior designers is when you look at the Pinterest trends for interior design, there's a little bit of a bump, during the springtime, but it's pretty consistent too. So what's great about that is that so a lot of times when there's a seasonal product, people are paying a lot more for their ads because they can only, advertise during certain times of year, and ads go up certain times of year.
Oh.
But when you're an interior designer, you really have an opportunity there to run ads during, all times of the year at a lower cost sometimes, just because not everybody can run ads all year long.
Right.
So that's another thing. And I'll tell you right now, there's not a whole lot of competition out there right now for interior designers on Pinterest. So if you're going to do it, now is the time to do it. I highly suggest looking into it, just because, not everybody knows about Pinterest advertising. And I mean, this is the place. The audience is on there for interior designers. So it's all about what you have to offer and how you offer it. And it's just such an amazing place for designers to be.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, Erin. Just try. Would you know, based on your experience and your knowledge of the clients that you have at Simple Pin Media, do you know if is it more, in other words, are there luxury designers that are successful on Pinterest, or is the luxury consumer not making, their plans on Pinterest, or what are you finding?
Well, interestingly enough, I was searching interior designers the other day because I thought, well, let me just see kind of what's going on right now before, before we record the podcast. And I am seeing some bigger names in there. And what's interesting is, I know a couple weeks ago, I saw Bobby Burke was advertising on Pinterest. And which is interesting because I would just assume that
like he doesn't need to advertise. Exactly.
So I thought that was interesting. But what I'm seeing more of just in general in different niches, like I know we're talking about design here, but I'm seeing even more luxury things like jewelry designers,
Mm.
and things like that. More luxury clothing, shoes, things like that being advertised on Pinterest. So, yes, it is definitely out there. I am seeing it more in the past 6 months than I ever did before. In fact, I would say that I have been a little bit surprised at some of the brands that I'm seeing advertised on Pinterest because I've just never seen them before. So
Mm.
yes, we are moving more into seeing people in that luxury space.
Interesting. Very interesting. It's it's funny because you do, I don't know, I shouldn't say, I tend to forget about Pinterest. As from a standpoint from my business, for window works, I just, we sit there every single Monday and we have our team meeting, and then we go into our sales meeting, and the sales meeting always has a component of advertising in it, and we bang our heads against the wall going, well, should we do this, should we do this? And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, we never think of Pinterest. Like, hello. And we have two
Yeah.
lead magnets. So we're perfectly positioned to just start doing it, right? I know for me, though, I would never do it personally myself. I would never say, okay, who on the team is going to do this? We would always hire it out. Like, I just like I don't want consumers going and doing their own window treatments or consumers going and doing their own interior design. You get better results when you work with a professional. And so when someone comes to work with you guys, what are some of the services? How does it work? Is that too involved? Do we just, go to the website? Like, what, how do you want to talk to us about that part of this, Erin?
Well, sure. Well, Simple Pin Media is a full service Pinterest management company. So we do everything from organic to ad creation to promote a pin campaign. So we do it all. And you can go to simplepinmedia.com for our services on there. Everything is on our services page. But what we've also done in the past year is I have created a membership for people who want to learn Pinterest ads, but can't necessarily afford or aren't ready to pay someone to take over their services. Oftentimes in our membership community, we also have you know, we we have agencies who actually just want to learn Pinterest ads, but they actually want to do them in-house because that's the ultimate goal. So we have a lower cost Pinterest ads membership community as well.
Mm.
So we have different levels. We also do consults. So we have 3 different levels of Pinterest ads at Simple Pin. So we have the done for you, which we take everything off of your plate. We manage everything. We have consulting, which is getting you going, kind of telling you what you need to be prepared. And then that kind of allows you to take on ads if you want to on your own. And then we have our membership community. So everything is on simplepinmedia.com and all of those are under services.
Well, that's awesome. I love, love, love when you can meet every different person where they want to be, right? Some people are going to be like me, just here, take the money, you do it. Other people are going to, want that information. There are lots of services that I show up in all three of these, depending on what I'm talking about, right? But with a mature business like Window Works and the advertising budget that we have, yeah, we would go right for done for you. But in other types of things and other areas of our business, I might love that membership aspect where I'm just showing up, it sounds like, as often as I want and just gathering the
Yep.
information and then going back and trying to figure out how to do it myself, right?
Well, that's right. And one of the things we notice too is a lot of people say, "Well, I really want to begin in Pinterest advertising. We don't have the budget, to have someone do it, and we don't really have a huge budget anyway, so we're just going to start out on the membership." And then oftentimes they get to a point where they've grown out of being able to do it on their own, so
Mm,
then they end up handing it over to us after being in our membership for 6 months
sure.
because they, they're on to bigger better things. So there are there are lots of opportunities. We also do free trainings. And so there are lots of opportunities for people to just kind of put their little toes in the water when it comes to Pinterest advertising. So
I love it. It's so good. So good. Well, is there anything about this topic, Erin, that I've left out that you think might be something? Oh, LuAnn, don't end without me letting, your audience know this, that, or the other thing.
Well, mostly I just want people to know, especially in the interior design field, that your people are on Pinterest. So Pinterest is the place for inspiration and solutions. And I highly suggest testing ads on Pinterest to see how you can accelerate your offers to the right people, because they are there. So just make sure that before you begin, you have a plan, you have a goal, you know what your offer is, you do a little bit of research, and then just make sure that you're having fun with your ads when it comes to designing so that you can attract the right people. And I will tell you, it seems a little intimidating in the beginning, but whether you have someone do it for you or whether you're trying to run your own Pinterest ads, I would say give it a couple months and you'll definitely get the hang of it. So it may seem a little scary in the beginning, but ultimately it's pretty easy to understand after the first month or two. So
love it. I love it. Well, Erin, thank you so much. You really were very helpful. You got my brain clicking, I got to tell you, about the possibilities and about the opportunities that we may be, not taking advantage of. We're so focused on Instagram, for crying out loud, right? And it's like, and we forget that that is a social platform where Pinterest is a search engine. And that is a very important distinction for each of us as business owners to keep front of mind. So thank you so much for all of your information today and all of the information that you shared with us as far as your links and all that will be in the show notes. So thanks, Erin.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, and good luck to everybody when you start to do your Pinterest advertising, because I know that after this, you are going to love it, because I'm telling you, here's the difference. When you're on Instagram, you have to click out of the picture, you have to click on the bio, you have to go through there to do that. But with Pinterest advertising, you just click and you are where you need to be. So just keep that in mind.
That's awesome. Awesome point. Thank you so much. So hearing Erin talk about the paid side of Pinterest was a little eye-opening for me. I'm very active on Instagram, but I know that we have not leveraged Pinterest, okay? Yet everything Erin said made sense. When people go to Pinterest to look at design elements, they are actively searching for solutions to a problem. So when you run a paid campaign on Pinterest, it's different than other social media platforms. By the way, because the experts keep telling us Pinterest is not a social media platform, right? You're not popping your ad in front of someone who just wants to watch cat videos or check to see what their friends are up to right then, right? Even though we know social media advertising works on Facebook and Instagram, for sure, there are undoubtedly users who probably get annoyed by the ads there. But on Pinterest, you're putting your business in front of primed customers who are problem aware, solution aware, and ready to find that solution, according to Erin. And I have to say, I think she's right. There's no better audience to advertise to, right? Erin pointed out, they might not be ready to make a purchase today or even this week, but if they are already actively looking, there's a fair chance that they will be ready soon. You want to be on the radar so that when they do make that purchase, they do cross over and say, I want a discovery call with an interior designer. You're already among their saved pins. And as someone who hasn't run ads on Pinterest yet, I was interested in what Erin said about a primary and a secondary goal for your campaigns. The primary goal can be as simple as building your list through a lead magnet. The actual purchasing or converting to a customer, right, might be the secondary goal. And if you're listening to this and thinking, well, that's great, but I don't have a lead magnet and I don't have time to invest in one now, remember what Erin said. Having a lead magnet is a strategy, right? And it's a good one. It helps you skip a lot of time building an organic following. You can start showing up with paid ad now and then probably see a decent ROI in a few months. So it might be worth just putting the brakes on to coming up with that one. All right. But she did say you don't have to have it. If you don't, you simply need to invest more time on the organic side so that you get the analytics and data that you need to inform your paid ad decisions. So there are options is the point. All right. I also found it interesting that luxury designers are out there using this strategy. I wasn't sure if Pinterest was just for those in e-design businesses or maybe designers starting out. So it's good to learn that it is for everybody. And I want to say, back in episode 618, Jenna Gaidusek talked about her e-design tribe, and she shared the way that she built a passive income through e-design, selling concept boards that she curated, okay? Pinterest is a big part of her business, and it makes sense. And I would definitely go back and listen to Jenna's show if you missed it. And understand, Pinterest isn't just for those of you in e-design or for those of you looking for passive income. I think this is what Erin was teaching us today. Even if you run a high-level luxury design firm, it sounds like paid Pinterest campaigns are a valuable strategy and should be part of your marketing, right? Back in the fall, I should say late winter, early winter, my goodness, December, right? We had the show where I did a solo show talking about what is your marketing budget. So go back if you missed that one and figure out what you should be spending overall in your marketing budget and maybe carve something out for this type of campaign, all right? Now, all the information that Erin had, we made a goodie for you, okay, so that you don't have to worry about taking notes and all the things. Go to LuAnnNigara.com/goodies, GOODIES. I'm going to take a minute here to talk about goodies. Here's how it works. On all the other podcasts in the world, practically, you're re-opting into the email list over and over again. What we do here at A Well-Designed Business is once you have gone and signed up for LuAnnNigara.com/goodies, you will then be given access to like this back end section of my website. So anytime we say there's a new goodie, you just have to go, and you probably created a login, right? You just have to go and get it. You don't have to like put your email in and wait for the confirmation and do all the things, okay? So if you go and sign up now, you're going to get all the goodies that are there. If I put a goodie out 6 months ago, 6 days ago, they're all there. Okay. So I've been getting a lot of requests and questions about the goodies. So I thought I would take a second to describe it. All right. So I just love that Simple Pin Media offers different options for all of us at different levels of our business, whether you would want it done for you or you just want the consulting and the paid membership that Erin mentioned, that you can help you do it for yourself. Okay. If you are ready to incorporate paid Pinterest into your marketing strategy, go explore these options at simplepinmedia.com. All right, that's simplepinmedia.com. All of the links will be in the show notes as per typical. All righty, I hope this was enjoyable and interesting for you. I love it when I learn something new. You can hear it when I do. It's so cool. But thank you so much, Erin, and thank you for showing up and listening today and decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.